So you've got a rental property here in Kansas City. Awesome. But I bet you've asked yourself the big question. You know, the one that keeps you up at night, whether you're just starting out or you've been doing this for years. All right, let's get right into it. Should you hire a property manager, or should you just handle everything yourself? I mean, on the surface, DIY seems like a no-brainer, right? You save some money. And hey, if you've got one property and you live super close, maybe that works out. But for most people, the reality is, well, it gets messy. So let's really break down the pros and cons to see what makes the most sense for you. Okay, first up, let's tackle the whole DIY approach. Because there are costs, and then there are the hidden costs. We're not just talking about dollars and cents here. We're talking about things that don't always show up on a spreadsheet, like your time and, honestly, your sanity.
So let's get real about the trade-offs. When you're managing it all yourself, vacancies can really drag on. Why? Because you're not a full-time marketing machine. And those late-night maintenance calls, you know the ones. The toilet's overflowing. That's your dinner, your weekend, your family time gone. And all of that chaos, it hits your cash flow hard, making your income totally unpredictable.
And listen, we are not talking about a few bucks here. Just one vacancy. Think about it. The lost rent, plus the cost to paint, clean, maybe fix a few things, and then advertise it all over again, that can easily add up to thousands of dollars. Suddenly, your investment starts looking more like a very, very expensive hobby. Okay, so if going in alone is filled with these, let's call them financial landmines, what's the other option? Well, this is where the idea of a professional partnership comes in. Let's shift gears and look at how that changes the game entirely.
And this is a really important mindset shift. A good property manager isn't just a rent collector. No way. Think of them as a strategic partner for your investment. Their whole mission, their entire job, is to protect your asset and squeeze every last drop of performance out of it.
And we're talking about the whole shebang. They're finding and screening top-notch tenants, handling all the lease paperwork, coordinating maintenance so you don't have to, and making sure that rent hits your bank account on time, every time. They're basically the operating system that makes your investment actually work without all the glitches. So what does this actually look like in the real world? Well, let's take a look at how a company like Alpine Property Management here in Kansas City handles things. What's interesting about their approach is that it's not about putting out fires. It's about preventing them from starting in the first place.
The big difference here is what they call a proactive maintenance system. So, instead of waiting for that panicked call about a burst pipe, they're looking for small issues before they become huge, expensive disasters. They've got a whole network of licensed, trusted vendors to get repairs done right and at a fair price. And the result for you? Way fewer emergency calls, and your property's value is actually protected for the long haul.
And you know, it's not just about the bricks and mortar. It's about the people living there. Here's a simple truth. Happy tenants stay longer. And tenants who stay longer mean fewer vacancies. It's that simple. By actually communicating, being responsive, and treating tenants fairly, a great manager builds relationships that directly translate to a more stable, consistent income for you.
All right, let's talk about the million-dollar question, or at least the one every investor is asking. It's great to collect rent, for sure, but how do you make that number go up? How do you actually increase your income over time?
Well, there's no single magic bullet. It's a full-on strategy. First, you've got to price it right, using actual data from the Kansas City market, not just a guess. Then, you have to keep the property looking great, so it's actually worth that price. And finally, you use smart marketing to pull in the absolute best tenants. You know, the ones who treat the place like their own and always pay on time. And look, this isn't just a gut feeling. It's backed by real data. Tenant feedback right here in KC shows a direct link. When you're proactive about maintenance, you get fewer complaints. Period. It proves that a great system doesn't just make the owner's life easier, it actually makes for a better home for the tenant. It's a total win-win. So when you step back and look at the whole picture, what does this all mean for you, the landlord? It's about a fundamental shift. It's about changing your property from an active, demanding second job into a passive investment that's actually working for you. At the end of the day, it really boils down to three huge benefits. 1, you get your time back. So much time. 2, the stress of dealing with tenant issues and emergency repairs, pretty much gone. And 3, your income becomes way more consistent and reliable. No more wild swings. And that really gets to the heart of it. Hiring a great property manager isn't some luxury add-on. For most people, it's the key that unlocks the original dream of real estate investing, building wealth with an asset that doesn't take over your entire life. So, let's go back to our first question. Is a property manager worth it here in Kansas City? Well, if you're looking for more time, less stress, and a healthier bottom line, all the signs point to a resounding yes. If you want to see exactly how this kind of proactive management could work for your properties, give the folks at Alpine a call. They really know their stuff. Thanks so much for tuning in.